Crawford needs to fight Teofimo first, and then we'll see, right? At the end of the day, like I said before, I'm not asking for that fight. They want to make that fight because it's a payday, obviously, but I don't want that fight. I think Teofimo deserves more than me.
It's a great fight. People want to see it, then we'll do it. You know, I don't say no to any fight. You know, as long as it's eye catching and eye candy to all of you that are watching right now, that's what really matters, you know. So, however, my main focus is Crawford, and I know so it is for him.
Crawford is a great fighter, and I don't want to talk about that. He's a great fighter, and I have nothing to with
Canelo appeared frustrated with how the negotiations were handled and indicated that he might have accepted the offer, but only under conditions he felt were appropriate, as he is not comfortable with the way the Saudis conduct business, which led to complications around the Crawford discussions. He also suggested that the most realistic option for Crawford would be a fight with Teofimo Lopez, pointing out that Lopez is one of the top fighters at 140 pounds and has earned the opportunity.
Crawford needs to fight Teofimo first, and then we'll see, right? At the end of the day, like I said before, I'm not asking for that fight. They want to make that fight because it's a payday, obviously, but I don't want that fight. I think Teofimo deserves more than.
With the spotlight now turning to Teofimo Lopez after Canelo's comments, discussion has reignited over who would come out on top if Lopez ever faced Terence Crawford, looking back at Lopez's continued calls for major opponents, such as Crawford Gervonta Davis and Jaron Ennis. It now appears he could be closer than ever to landing the high-profile fights he has long pursued.
About making boxing great again. That's what I came back to do. Because I know as long as I keep facing the fighters, calling out champions like Terence Crawford, that people are like, this man's crazy. Well, yeah, I'm crazy. I mean, I'm crazy to be great. When was that a problem? You know, and I mentioned that Roberto Duran fought all 4 kings or 3 kings and was the guy that everyone respects highly. Muhammad Ali faced Joe Frazier and so many other great champions that, you know, and got dropped in front of the world, in front of him. Like, who cares? You go and you stand.
After watching Crawford's recent fight, Teofimo Lopez said it was clear that age may be starting to affect him, explaining that the sharp and dominant version of Crawford did not look the same in the ring. Lopez said he wants the opportunity to face Crawford soon because he feels the timing matters and that waiting longer could change everything. He openly stated that Crawford's age is already becoming a factor and that now is the right moment for the fight, adding that he believes he should be next in line. Lopez also spoke about a possible matchup with Jaron Ennis, showing respect for him and saying it would be a strong fight if fans want to see it. He made it clear that he is open to any exciting bout that delivers for the audience. Despite these options, Lopez emphasized that Crawford remains his main focus, calling the fight a major step toward his goals and saying both of them likely have their eyes on it for this year or next. However, while Lopez is pushing for the opportunity, Crawford's team does not appear convinced. Following Crawford's recent win, his trainer Brian McIntyre strongly dismissed the idea of a Lopez fight, arguing that Lopez does not bring enough value to make the matchup appealing and stating that he is not currently at the level required to face Crawford, suggesting he has lost some of the momentum he once had.
He's actually adamant in calling out Terence Crawford, saying that that's his match. He don't bring to the table neither. Trash, he trash. He used to be good, but now he trash. You heard it first. Y'all put it out there. He trash. You trash. You straight trash, dog.
Recently, Oladipo, a well-known boxing analyst, shared his view on the situation and told his audience that a Canelo versus Crawford fight may never happen. He pointed out that while Crawford's performance against Israel Madrimov was solid, it was not the type of dominant display needed to create strong momentum for a move up to 168 pounds. In his opinion, Crawford needed a standout, showing to spark major excitement around a potential mega fight, but that level of impact was not fully achieved. He gave credit to Madrimov for his effort and made it clear that the opponent performed well, yet he believes many fans expected a more convincing statement from Crawford.
Maybe. Number one, I think Crawford needed to look exceptional against Madrimov. So we know that, okay, he's now good at 154. He can maybe take that double jump to 168. Although he looked good, he didn't look exceptional. And that's no slight on Crawford. Madrimov's a very good fighter, but I felt like we needed to see something a bit special for us to get really excited.
He also discussed the financial side of the situation, noting that Canelo Alvarez's demands could stand in the way. He explained that Turki Alalshikh had reportedly made an offer to Canelo, but it was declined. According to him, Canelo's request for more than $100 million creates a serious obstacle, which makes the chances of the fight happening much lower.
Maybe Canelo's demands are just too big. I think Turki said that he sent an offer to Canelo. I think Canelo's rejected it. And I think I saw an interview, or at least read something about Canelo wanting, I think, over 100 million. So, yeah.
At this stage, the fight centers on money, as a major payday appears to be the only way it can move forward. And that level of offer has not been presented. Jim Lampley spoke about the situation, explaining that the matchup offers a huge earning opportunity for both men. He noted that Terence Crawford is widely viewed as the pound-for-pound best in the sport, while Canelo Alvarez leads when it comes to overall earnings. Lampley questioned whether fighters value legacy over financial reward, especially for someone like Crawford, who is 36 and does not have unlimited time left in his career. He stressed that Crawford's path to the kind of income Canelo generates would likely require facing him, since Canelo remains the top revenue draw. He also pointed out that Crawford's window to secure life-changing paydays is narrowing, making such a fight extremely important from a financial perspective if money is the main factor driving decisions. Lampley suggested that Canelo's recent career moves reflect that idea. Canelo left Matchroom Boxing to sign a lucrative 3-fight deal with premier boxing champions under Al Haymon, reportedly worth over $100 million, showing that financial security plays a key role in his choices, with Canelo now scheduled to face Edgar Berlanga instead of a long discussed bout with David Benavidez. Questions have grown as negotiations with Benavidez reportedly stalled over financial terms. Canelo has openly addressed his high demands, explaining that Benavidez presents real risk, including size advantages on fight night, yet he remains confident he would win if the compensation meets his expectations. He stated that if the money is right, he would take the fight immediately. Reports indicate he is seeking around $250 million and would not accept less than $200 million even after negotiations.
If someone's willing to put up the $250 million,
I mean,
would you negotiate down?
no less than 200.
No less than 200.
Ooh.
All right, let's get 200. Hey, y'all, enough people in the room. Let's get the money.
The controversy started after Jaron and his team made remarks about his son that many considered insensitive. Lopez Sr. defended his son, saying he is currently the top fighter at 140 pounds, and criticized Brian McIntyre for mocking him, suggesting it was done simply to stir tension before a potential matchup. Lopez Sr. also issued a measured challenge to Crawford, noting that his son has repeatedly shown he is skilled and quick, and that he is capable of moving up in weight to 147 or even 150 pounds if needed. He emphasized that if Crawford refuses a fight at 147, they are willing to face him at 150 or any weight he prefers. Despite Timo's recent performance against Steve Klett, many fans were underwhelmed. Lopez Sr. called this reaction unfair, pointing out that his son previously defeated Josh Taylor, who was considered a top competitor at the time. He insisted that his son's ability to anticipate and counter his opponent's moves is unmatched, explaining that they handled Taylor with ease in a way no one else could. However, looking back at last year's fight between Timo and Josh Taylor, the victory may not appear as dominant as Lopez Sr. suggests. While Timo did win by unanimous decision, the display in that match does not necessarily prove he is ready to take on an undisputed world champion like Crawford, despite Crawford's age. Regarding Timo's willingness to challenge difficult opponents, former welterweight world champion Chris Algieri praised him, saying that even if people criticize Timo for his behavior, he consistently steps up to fight bigger and tougher opponents, showing no hesitation even when at a clear disadvantage.
A lot of things that do not. So, yes, he is one of those guys who fights the difficult fights. He goes after the guys, like you said, Champ, Paulie, that, you know, he's sought after these big fights. He also fights a lot of these tough guys that people don't want to fight. the Sandor Martins of the world, the Jermaine Ortizes of the world. Those are tough outs, and you don't get a lot for beating them. And then when you get raked over the coals when you don't stun.
On the other hand, Chris highlighted the long-standing insincerity shown by Teimo, who often claims that everyone underestimates him. This, he said, comes from Teimo's constant insistence on only facing fighters like Terence Crawford, while ignoring other opponents in his weight division who are willing to fight him in the meantime.
Matchups when you're starting to chase dragons and gorillas, like I always say, like the Terence Crawfords of the world,
Lions and tigers and bears.
Yeah, lions, tigers, bears, dragons. You start chasing these kinds of fights, it turns the fans off because you have a ton of tigers that you can actually fight all around you, and you're chasing guys.
Reiterating points previously made by Brian McIntyre, Chris R. T highlighted that Terence Crawford isn't particularly interested in facing Teimo, seeing it as a mismatch not worth his time or level. According to Chris, the smartest move for Teimo would be to stay within his own weight class and compete against opponents who match him, rather than chase someone several divisions above. He explained that Crawford never brings up Teimo because it isn't a serious fight and isn't on the table. Chris added that there are plenty of strong fighters near Teimo's level, and he doesn't see how Teimo could realistically move up multiple weight classes to challenge Crawford. On the same show, Malik Nagy disagreed, defending Teimo's decision to pursue fights against top-tier fighters like Crawford. He argued that this approach could give Teimo a platform to showcase his talent and prove he is a legitimate contender, even if others have overlooked him. Malik pointed out that Teimo does call out these top fighters, but they often decline, citing personal commitments or network issues, showing that many avoid him. Lopez used Steve Klett as an example, noting that if Teimo gives up on chasing the best opponents, he risks facing fighters like Steve, who are competent but not highly marketable or exciting for fans. Malik stressed that avoiding top competition could limit Teimo's growth, as he performs best against elite opponents. Tim Bradley echoed this perspective, emphasizing that in boxing, there is nothing wrong with targeting high-profile fighters, as they offer the chance to elevate a career. This ambition, he noted, seems to be exactly what Teimo has in mind.
Man, he's a type of fighter that fights to the level of his competition. So if he fights a guy like Crawford, he's going to show up and he's going to...
Responding to the frequent criticism that he only targets big-name fighters for attention and money, Teimo explained that every boxer wants to make a mark and build a legacy. He argued that criticizing him for pursuing the same goal doesn't make sense. Teimo added that he aims to fight the best opponents who also offer the biggest paydays, showing that reputation and legacy matter just as much as the financial reward, something you can hear in his tone. Trainer Greg Hackett, a respected figure in boxing, challenged Teimo's reasoning, saying that his focus on high-profile opponents like Terence is misguided. Greg argued that Teimo is wasting time chasing fights at higher weight classes, when he could be building his record by competing against fighters in his own division. He emphasized that Crawford doesn't have many options, which is why Teimo feels the need to move up, but that doesn't make it a meaningful matchup. Greg also predicted that if a fight between Teimo and Crawford ever happened, Crawford would dominate. He cited Crawford's superior experience, size, and skill, noting that even after his recent bouts, he overwhelmed smaller opponents. Commenting on the criticism Teimo faces, Greg said the main motivation behind his repeated calls to Crawford is to take advantage of Crawford's fame, a strategy that, while controversial, has become common among modern fighters.
I feel like Teo did that because Bud got a buzz right now, and it would seem crazy, it would seem out of this world if Teo took a fight like that and nobody saw it coming, so let me use his name. It's just like other fighters use other fighters' names.
Predicting a decisive victory for Terence over Teimo, former heavyweight champion Antonio Tarver said he would back Terence, noting that he is stronger and more complete in every aspect. Antonio acknowledged that the younger fighter has impressive skills, but he emphasized that they don't match up to Terence's overall ability.
I got Crawford. Talk about magic, man. I got Crawford because I see him being a bigger Teofimo. Yeah. He's a bigger Teofimo that can do everything. Ooh. You feel me? Ooh. Yeah, bigger Teo. Teo got all the intangibles, power, boxing, everything. Yeah. But I think Crawford has that too. but he's bigger.
Meanwhile, despite most of the boxing world being skeptical, Teofimo remains focused on facing top fighters, including someone like Jaron Ennis, whom he mentioned in a recent statement. It's understandable that Jaron caught Teofimo's eye, as he is one of the most accomplished and well-known fighters in the welterweight division, holding an impressive record of 32 wins with 29 knockouts. Considering their history and combined popularity, a fight between them would draw massive attention from fans and could finally settle debates about who is the top contender in the division, especially following clips of their rumored sparring sessions that recently surfaced.
I feel like Teo did that because Bud got a buzz right now, and it would seem crazy. It would seem out of this world if Teo took a fight like that and nobody saw it coming. So let me use his name. It's just like other fighters use other fighters' names.